Hey everybody, welcome back to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. This is the latest episode in the Confederate campaign, started in the 1861 spring campaign start. In this episode, we review the strategy that we hope will win the war, an invasion in the north, deep into the Midwest. This episode also should be patched fully to the 1.04 official patch, so the series is almost all the way caught up to date as we try to finish the war in the next few episodes. You got that and a whole lot more in Grand Tactician, the Civil War. Requests for naming units that I've neglected at the time, but I went back to take a look at any other requests that I may have missed. To rehash this one more time, we have the Ultima Ratio Division, which is the artillery division under Hood, suggested by Ashley Hyatt. And then Thomas Rainier gets the Styrian Panthers. I believe that is Bowen's division here under Wheeler. We got the big muddy division under Daniel H. Hill. The big muddy division suggested by Randall Odell. We also have Pemberton's Nut Butters requested by Mikhailia. We also have the Elm Ox Division under Stonewall Jackson from Elm Ox himself. And Pendleton's Sloopy Division, another artillery division in the Army of Northern Virginia. So we should be caught up with the unit names in this campaign as we do try to make our final push for victory with the Union national morale at 38, while ours sit at 98 for now. We are going to reorganize our Eastern Army and try to take a defensive stance in Maryland and hold that as a fortress Maryland while we try to win the war in the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region out west. Right now, the main thing we've done is balanced out the corps a little bit and consolidated some of the brigades so that they are a little bit more manageable. Magruder is busy building a fort outside of Baltimore. We're going to try to create a defensive line, a chain of forts from Baltimore to Frederick. Made some organizational changes with leadership. We also added some cavalry divisions to Lee and Ewell's corps. Promoted McLaws to division command. Also, Edward Johnson takes over a division under Magruder. A couple other minor changes to brigade commanders as well. I'm thinking that the Army of Kansas is being wasted, and we're not going to be able to flip Kansas, even though we've taken, I think, all the major cities and settlements in that area, but we can't seem to wrest complete control over it or make it flip. We can send Tillman over and attach him to the Army of the West. Actually, we've decided to transfer Stephen D. Lee's division to Armistead to bolster the Army of Indiana. And to review the plan one last time, we've decided to invade through the Midwest region and the Great Lakes, the Old Northwest, and to the push towards the Great Lakes, either towards Chicago or even towards Toledo, as we have taken Indianapolis. Actually, we have not fully controlled Indianapolis yet, but Armistead's corps is about to complete the occupation of Indianapolis. We're using the Army of the West under Albert Sidney Johnston to shield us from the main Union Army in Illinois, as there looks to be very little in our way to invading the interior at Cincinnati, Columbus, all under threat, Fort Wayne, into Toledo, and even maybe Cleveland. Maybe this will win the war, the final countdown to the end of the Civil War. This will be the plan. Let's see how it works. Polk's corps being recently transferred to the east. Let's take a look at the next few days. July 3rd, 1862. Let's watch the Union movements in Illinois. And it looks like they're breaking out from their camps, or slight movement out of their camps. Wheeler gets a perk. We're going to issue partisan brigades to Wheeler. He's getting low on supplies, so we're going to have him come back towards Longstreet's corps. Indianapolis is under Armistead's control. He's going to build a depot here. So Armistead getting ready to build a depot. We'll march Archer to Indianapolis, and then he'll take over the depot building duties, and we will have Armistead move out from Indianapolis to, I think we'll move to Fort Wayne, maybe Cincinnati, because that's a bigger target, and there doesn't seem to be anyone defending that. What we'll have Lloyd Tilghman do is maybe send Pegram's Cavalry Corps east towards Quincy, and maybe we can secure the northeast part of Missouri that is Union held. I think we'll come through Jefferson City and then move towards Mexico to get that depot. Looks like the Union backed off our forces around Baltimore. We've added some defenders to Fort Washington, about 5,000 men, and then we may actually do that with Fort McHenry, so extra garrison there. You can see Union forces building up around Pittsburgh and the Maryland Panhandle around Cumberland. Not sure if they're going to strike west to protect Ohio or strike through the valley and get in behind us in our Maryland position. All right, moving on from July 9th. Still not a lot of movement from the Army, the Union forces in Illinois. Armistead is ordered to take Cincinnati. That's going to be our next target. Johnston is going to try to take up headquarters at Shelbyville. We need Polk's Corps. Even though they're not all here yet, we're going to have him move to Vernon. Let's keep moving forward. July 10th, 1862. Price's Corps is going to take this depot at Alton. We'll see if that actually encourages the Army of Tennessee to come back at Price's Corps. We'll see what happens with that. You can see the Union Army start moving, actually. The vaunted Price's Corps. They're shifting south. Hood is going to try to block in the way. Let's draw Longstreet closer because it looks like there may be a major engagement near Vandalia again. Let's move Rousseau's New Orleans squadron towards up the Ohio River to scout ahead. Union national morale down to 36. They outnumber us 339 to 251, though. I think we should unleash Preston's cavalry and maybe do some raiding into Pennsylvania. So we're going to set him to raid. We're going to reattach Coke's Corps to McCullough to help protect the valley. Let's order Coke's Corps to Hagerstown. Ewell will replace Coke at Frederick. We're going to see if George James can't redeem himself and try to take Fort Monroe. We're going to order him to Richmond, though, and make sure he's supplied before he does that offensive. Armistead's supply situation, though, is starting to weaken a little bit there. He is drawing some supplies from Shelbyville. Archer trying to finish the depot at Indianapolis, although Armistead should start drawing supplies from the river, too, and Covington. So I think he'll be all right. He has a bad supply ratio, but he still has provisions and forage, so his army's being fed. Let's keep watching the developments in central Illinois. So Price's Corps has taken that depot. He's going to retreat back to Vandalia. It looks like the Union armies are headed south, and we might have a major engagement here soon. So Price's corps provoked the Union forces to march towards Vandalia. He's back there. We've taken the depot. The Army of Tennessee near St. Louis, that was probably where they're drawing a lot of supplies from. Lots of units arriving at destination. William Preston is destroying supplies at depots. Actually, let's see if he can't actually try to capture this depot. Cadwallader is withdrawing, so is Porter. Is that out west? So Polk's full corps is here in Indiana. We're going to march them towards Cincinnati. There is an Army of the Cumberland, but it looks like they just recently formed, as their actual strength is only 1. So the headquarters are there. We don't know if there's any other Union forces, though, attached to that army. We're going to march Armistead. I don't think there's any actual army here of significance. I think that's just a headquarters. Moving forward, we want to see Armistead try to occupy Cincinnati. There's the occupation starts, as you see the red bar, and the Army of the Cumberland is retreating. Cincinnati almost in our hands, and Cincinnati is occupied. So the strategic situation now, the national morale on the Union side has fallen to 34. We have nailed the gap slightly in men fielded. We should be coming upon a policy completion soon. That's still 27 days, minus 19% research speed due to lower state support. Although state support is not awful in the Confederate States. Archer's Corps of Joe Johnston's Army of Indiana is building a depot at Indianapolis so that we can we'll probably push forward towards Fort Wayne, Toledo, then Cleveland. We have the river here, the Wabash and Erie Canal, and Fort Wayne might be a real nice prize, as it kind of controls these headwaters that go into the the Miami and Erie Canal going into the Lake Erie, the Wabash and Erie Canal, flowing down into the Ohio River. So the Union Army in the west is massing up in central Illinois near Decatur. I've counted about at least 50 to maybe 60,000 plus. Hard to say exactly how many men they have forming up here, as they've separated the units, several corps, a couple of them about 20,000 strong, a couple of them 10,000 strong, so I'm about 50, maybe even up to 70,000 men at least right there. Albert Sidney Johnston's Army of the West has about 77,000 men right now in the area to confront them. Joseph Wheeler's Cavalry Corps, who's been unleashed upon the northern populace, gets another perk. I think we're going to do Bushwhackers 1, giving some more destructive capabilities when raiding, support hit plus 10%. Right now he's guarding the Terre Haute Bridge on the border of Illinois and Indiana. I might have him push forward to raid the further north, maybe Middleport. But we control Danville and Lafayette, so we control the rail through Indiana. So if supplies are flowing through Michigan City, we might actually push forward towards near Chicago, Michigan City, on the edge of Lake Michigan there on the southern tip. That might be the destination for Wheeler's Corps. He's well provisioned right now, relatively well provisioned. We have been slowly reinforcing Joe Johnston's Army of Indiana. He's slated to have about 50,000 men under his command right now. Almost 14,000 under Armistead. Archer has another 18,000. I think they're going to keep pushing towards the northeast of Indiana and Ohio. On 2 columns, maybe that's what we'll do. Archer towards Fort Wayne, Armistead towards Lima, and then push eastward. In the east, we have McCulloch with the corps under Koch trying to drive westwards in southern Pennsylvania and western Maryland, keeping an eye on this Army of the North, about 14,000 men. We might even keep reinforcing McCulloch. We want to keep this Union Army guessing as to our intentions, threatening Pittsburgh. If we can occupy this Army of the North here near Pittsburgh, that allows Joe Johnston free reign in Indiana and Ohio. Kind of a similar strategy that won the war in the live stream campaign. So we're kind of doing that same finishing strategy here. We're going to order Koch's Corps to Cumberland, Maryland. Ewell has moved towards Frederick. And he's actually going to build a fort here. We may even take more men from Beauregard as we fortify Maryland. If we feel secure enough in the defense of Maryland, we may even siphon troops off from the eastern theater to the west and central. Ewell has a perk available. We'll do flying column. On second thought, since it's too late now, but you could easily, under the circumstances, because we are trying to hold Maryland defensively and not push towards deeper into the northeast, considering that we are still outnumbered by the Union forces. I don't want to stretch us out as thin as we already are. We could have given Ewell more of a defensive perk, one of the siege perks that benefit the defensive side of the engineering corps perks. Something to consider, although Ewell has been used much more offensively. Maybe he will be the one that we use to reinforce the western theater as well. Polk's Corps actually was reinforced from the east. We're actually going to have him keep a centered position here, and he's going to Centerville, of all places. And that is where Joe Johnston is going to make his headquarters as well, so that we can keep Archer in the loop. It looks like Armistead might be ready to head out. He'll go to Dayton for now. We may want to... I don't want to slow us down in our northern invasion here. We could easily have Armistead try to build a fort here to help defend Cincinnati. But what we may do is bring up a division with engineers up to Cincinnati to try to build that fort. So we've assigned Buckner's small corps under Bragg in Tennessee that are forming up as a reserve division. A engineer, Jean-Jacques Alexander Alfred Mouton. Say that 5 times fast. He has the engineer perk, so we're going to actually order Buckner to Cincinnati. And we'll probably actually just transfer him to Joe Johnston. But his mission will be to fortify and build fortifications in second-line defensive areas. All right, Buckner's been ordered to try to take any transportation available or march up to Cincinnati. We'll see how long that takes. There's a way to kind of transfer them to... You could split off the individual units and transfer them to Johnston directly, and they will use the internal transportation system on their own. And that's why you'll get like the estimated time of arrival. So that's another way to do it. Or if you attach the entire corps by itself, then you can move that corps on the map. The only drawback to this is now that Buckner is detached as of the moment, detached from Joe Johnston. He has an order delay, but we're going to see, we are force marching them, so they'll be dead tired by the time they get there. We're going to see how fast they can get over to Cincinnati doing it this way. I suspect that it's actually going to take them longer this way, but I wanted to find out and see. So I anticipate battle soon near Vandalia again. We're going to fast forward now and see what happens. All right, Joe Johnston's armies are on the move, his corps. Archer is coming back towards Shelbyville for some reason. He should be building that depot. Did he finish the depot? It was almost done. Alright, we have a depot in Indianapolis. Joe Johnston has a perk. So with the next perk for Joe Johnston, let's do field telegraph for the Army headquarters. Seems to make a lot of sense. Minus 10% order delays. So movement into further into the north. Dayton under Armistead's control. We have spotted a Union Corps here. Not at full strength yet. We may actually order Polk back to Cincinnati before Buckner can get there. Yeah, Buckner hasn't even moved out of Nashville yet. No battle near Vandalia, though, as Albert Sidney Johnston's army keeps the Union Army at Decatur in check. Before we move any further, I wanted to name a brigade after Colton Burke, who had requested to name a brigade, the Burke's Bushwhackers. So in honor of that, we're going to assign Charles Field's cavalry brigade, equipped with these pretty nice Maynard carbine rifles. They have a little bit of experience too, and they are part of a raiding party under Joseph Wheeler. So I think it was a fitting name. Burke's Bushwhackers assigned to Charles Field's brigade. Charles Field also has some good battle experience. So they are wreaking havoc in the Midwest, right there at Terre Haute right now. Tearing up some railroads, stealing some supplies from the Union forces, denying Union forces the much needed supplies they need out west. That said, if you want to name any units in this campaign, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and are enjoying any of this video content, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, or leave a comment. And I, again, appreciate all the views that this video receives. Now on with the campaign. Had to reissue orders to Buckner's Corps to move to Cincinnati. We're going to have Archer, instead of going straight to Fort Wayne, we'll have him move to Dayton behind Armistead. As Armistead goes to Columbus, we'll probably push Archer forward to Lima. We're just keeping an eye on this Union Corps here. Yeah, they've increased their strength to 19,000 and threatened to retake Cincinnati. So we have Polk going to Cincinnati to defend that. So we want to keep Archer relatively nearby too, in case battle is given by the Union force. Polk's Corps is trying to secure Cumberland. It is almost in Confederate hands. There are two Union corps over here in western Pennsylvania, one about 26,000 strong, and another 14,000 near Pittsburgh, facing off against Polk's Corps of about 25,000 and another 5,000 cavalry under William Preston. I was going to push Preston to Johnstown, but he would have to disengage if the Union corps go after. Why don't we do that anyways, and we will order Preston to, in a defensive stance. We are going to have him raid and try to destroy the supplies and coal mines at Johnstown. Cox Corps will take a defensive stance. We'll even build a fort here if we can. He's gaining supplies from the Shenandoah Valley. His supply situation is good for now, so I'm not worried about building a depot quite yet there. would like to build a fort guarding the pass here at Cumberland. Nice spot right there at the headwaters of the Potomac and at that rail crossing. I'm not seeing a lot of forces here in southern Pennsylvania. Not seeing many Union forces. We have Stuart's cavalry set to scouting. We're actually going to order him towards Gettysburg. I want to see what's over here near Harrisburg and Gettysburg. If we need to push Ewell to reinforce McCulloch at Cumberland, then I want to know if there's anything about to invade south. We still have Magruder. We still have Lee. We have some forts in the Chesapeake Bay area of Maryland. Let's not forget Tilghman in central Missouri. We're going to order Tilghman with Pegram's Corps to Quincy, Illinois, and take that town there at the border of Missouri and Illinois. Try to disrupt any more western trade. We're going to force march them. Take that depot there too. Not a ton of supplies there, but still some supplies. My orders have been set. Let's see what happens. We'll keep an eye on the situation near Cincinnati. No movement by that Union Corps near Cincinnati. Let's check the east. Let's see what the Union reaction will be to the raid on Johnstown. And no real movement right now. Koch has a perk available. We gave him engineers and mechanics 1 to increase construction speed. Let's see if George James can take Fort Monroe. We're going to order him down the peninsula there. Let's keep an eye on Preston's raid. We see some Union Corps here that might strike at him. We want to get him out of there before that happens. They are shifting their first corps up north, but maybe probably just to protect Pittsburgh. Armistead is almost to Columbus, and he is detached, though. So if that Union Corps strikes north, he will have to defend on his own. So we want to get Johnston's headquarters to Dayton so that he can get all his corps in his command range. Because we got Polk at Cincinnati and archers marching towards Dayton, too, to support. Transferred a division from the Army of the transferred a brigade from the Army of Missouri, Iverson Jr. to Armistead in the Army of Indiana. Laying down a depot at Cincinnati under Polk's corps. Polk can probably start the fort construction as well. So we have a Fort Cincinnati being built. All right, let's see if there will be an engagement here soon. We're trying to secure Quincy with some cavalry. That might actually take a few days. Union Corps, we see them at Harrisburg, so Stuart has spotted the other Union armies at Harrisburg. It looks like Preston's Corps might be in jeopardy at Johnstown, so we're probably going to pull him back. Let's see if he can evade the Union Corps trying to take him at Johnstown. Some skirmishing going on, but he's able to get away. He was getting low on supplies. Unit was routed, though. But they are still in good condition. They're a little hungry or low on food. But they should be starting to draw some supplies here. We do have an engagement, though, as out west, looks like we have a Union trying to push Albert Sidney Johnston's army out of Illinois, or at least out of central Illinois. So Stephen A. Hurlbut leads the Union armies in Illinois on the Second Vandalia campaign as Albert Sidney Johnston looks to defend his position and shield the federal forces from pushing out the rebel invasion of the North and threatening Joe Johnston's Indiana army from retreating there. Well, I hope you're enjoying this episode. We'll pick this up at the Battle of Vandalia, the Second Vandalia. I do appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one. Check out the Union video. We also have a new live stream campaign starting, which We're going to try to play as a defensive Confederate States Army with no invasions of the North, only in the neutral states. So check that out. Check the channel page for times and schedules. I will try to schedule in advance so you know when. Sometimes I have to change the schedule, but so I do appreciate your time. I'll see you on the next one.